Hello everyone, Yuki here and welcome to League of Legends. Now I know that there is some beginner league guides on YouTube, but I just wanted to give my take on a completely beginner's guide to League. This is not a guide for people who already know how to play League and want to become pro, but a guide to help beginners and remind seasoned players the fundamentals of League. So without further ado, I'm Yuki and I hope to be your beginner's League of Legends guide. To start, League is a Dota game, where most players play on a basic map which in League is called Summoner's Rift. Winning is simple, all you have to do is destroy the enemy's nexus, just as when challenges in your way. To win, challengers must destroy the opponent's 4-tier turrets and inhibitor in any lane before they can destroy the nexus. The map consists of 3 lanes, top, mid, and bot, and a jungle area. General rules for each lane is that top and mid are solo, while bot is played by 2 people, usually consisting of an ADC and a support, while a jungler plays in the jungle. More detailed information for each role will be given later. So how exactly should you choose a champion being a new player? Well, as a new player, there is a limited number of champions you can choose from. These champions are determined by Riot and what they believe are the most beginner friendly, but not to worry, there's still a wide variety of roles you can try out. One thing you may want to consider is that if you are a gamer, you may want to look at what role you tend to enjoy the most in other games. This may be able to help you shorten your list of what you will enjoy playing. While I said previously, champions tend to be grouped by where they are best played on the map, I feel a better way to help you choose a map role, as I would like to call it, is to choose a playstyle. This would be Assassin, Fighter, Mage, Marksman, Support, and Tank. To give an example why this is a better way of grouping, if you were someone like me who preferred mages, then you probably will enjoy playing mid lane the most. For most mages are played in this role, or can be played in this role, while there are exceptions, like some being played as a support and vice versa, which shows that maybe you will also enjoy playing the support role. So as a beginner, consider choosing your champions and playstyle instead of a map role. So right about now, you might be wondering why I have not talked about runes, masteries, and summoner spells compared to other guides. Well, because they aren't as important to beginners as they are for players who already reached level 30. Why, you may ask? Well, as a beginner level 1, or even before you reach level 30, you don't really have any choices or use for runes, since you got none. Mastery points? Well, you only have 1, which won't do too much for you, and you won't get all 30 until you reach level 30. So that's why I am not speaking about them. As for summoner spells, it is the same. You only are able to use 4 at level 1, and you unlock them as you level. This is also why, as a beginner, you can't play as a jungler. You got no smite, and everyone knows jungling is hell without a smite. So, in ways, you only got 4 choices in where you can play as a beginner. But on the bright side, you can feel slightly less overwhelmed by which champion you should choose. So now let's get into a custom game in order to see what the game looks like in a real match. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Before we get into any of the match details, I'd like to talk about keybinds. I feel it is important for any new or seasoned player to have set their keybinds to what suits them best. You can access this by pressing exit on your keyboard, which will bring up the options menu. Here, you can also play around with many other typical game settings such as resolution and sound. But back to keybinds. To reset any key, you just have to click on the one you wish to change and it will bring up a new window like any other game. Then all you have to do is press on the key you wish to use on your keyboard. A suggestion I would like to make for beginners or any seasoned player if you are already not in the habit of using quick cast to begin training to use it, because it will not delay when you cast a spell this way. For example, Ari's E, which is Charm, is a skill shot, meaning a spell that requires the summoner to aim, will be a lot faster with quick cast because the spell will be cast in the direction on where you have your mouse placed when you activate the spell, compared to normal casting where you must first activate the spell, then aim and click again for it to cast. And in a fast-paced reflex game like League, I feel that it is very important that you have as little delay as possible for casting spells like these, because it might just cost you to miss your target. And quick cast also means more control for you as a summoner over what your champion does. To set any key to be on quick cast individually, all you have to do is make sure the curved down arrow under the key is lit. As for basic controls, well, you move with the mouse like in most games, and your spells by default are Q, W, E, and R. These are the most basic controls for the game. Besides those, you have item keybinds that you have either set for yourself. If not, they are numbers 1 through 7 by default. Another important component of League is working with your teammates. This means reading the map to help give your team important information, such as when your laner, if you're playing in a lane, is listening, or you see the enemy jungler or your laner about to gank one of your teammates' lanes, to give them warning pings. These things also have a shortcut, and you should have seen them if you decided to set your own keybinds, but if you did not, the most basic way to ping is to press G, then click and hold with your mouse on the ground and let it go in the direction of the ping you wish to use. Another tip is that you can ping over the minimap and you don't have to just ping on the ground. Now that we have talked about the basics of controlling your champion, let's move on to more game information. To begin, when you start any League game, you should click on the shop. There's 3 ways to access the shop. One is clicking on the shop tender, which is located at your base. Another is clicking on the bar under your item list, which tells you how much gold you have, or using the shortcut P. You can only buy items from the shop while you are at your fountain. Now, let's talk about the jungle some more. The jungle is like a mirror. One side of the river belongs to you, while the other side belongs to the enemy. The animals in general are called creeps, and while all having separate names. The little rocks are called crugs, while the buffs are called either blue or red buff, depending on their color. The blue buff gives you mana regen and shortens the timer of your spells, while the red buff gives you a slow on auto attacks and health regen when out of combat. These are important to keep track of. There is even a timer if you press tab. Tab will bring up a list of players in the game, what items they have bought since you last saw them, and a mute button for when you wish to mute a player. There is also timers for dragon and baron respawn. Back to the jungle, where you have wolves, which are called wolves, bird-like creatures called raptors, and a frog-looking animal called grump. There are also mobs in the river. The Rift Herald is located north side of river, which spawns at the same place that Baron spawns, but is only there until about 19 minutes 15 seconds into the game, when it will despawn for Baron to take its place. There is also a little wandering mob in the river called the Scuttle Crab, and last but not least, the Dragon Pit on the south side of the river. And that's all there is about the jungle. Now, while you may not be a jungler for a while, you might get a jungler in your bot game, in which they may want you to give them a leash, depending on which mob they are starting at. Leashing is when you help your jungler with their first jungle camp. What you do is attack the mob just enough for the jungler to finish it off with smite, while not taking the EXP or gold away from your jungler. After that, you can head to your lane. If the jungler starts north side, the top laner is supposed to help with the leash, and if they start on the south side, both mid and bot can help with the leash. Finally, there are bushes scattered around the map. When you are inside a bush, you will not be seen by the enemy player, unless they walk into the same one you are in, and vice versa, or they have a ward in that bush, but more about items later. So that's all you have to know as a new player before starting your first game of League. Next time we'll learn more about items and objective control as we get into our first game. Thank you for watching, and please like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you enjoyed this video, or what you would like to have me explain more about League, or any suggestions that you may have for me. So I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!